Miss Gibson, you were mauled by the defendant's dogs.
Yes, ma'am.
On what date did this happen?
May 5th, 2018.
And it happened on the property that belongs to a friend of yours.
Yes,
Who is
ma'am.
that?
Her name is Cindy Weaver.
And Mr. Abrahamson, you live on Miss Weaver's property. You're the handyman?
Used to be. Yes, ma'am. I actually built the house.
Were you on May 5th her
Yes,
handyman?
Not a handyman. I was living on the property, though.
What were you doing there?
There's a residence in the back of the property that I live in.
You rent?
Yes, ma'am.
So you were a renter. How much rent were you paying her?
$400 a month.
How long had you lived there?
5 years.
When did you move out?
I haven't yet. I still live on the property.
And where is Miss Weaver?
She's in the main house.
Other than renting the property, do you do any work there?
Occasionally, yes, small stuff, not really handyman stuff, helping out.
Does she pay you for that?
She doesn't give me cash for it, no, ma'am.
Fine, so you are purely a renter.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. How many dogs do you have?
3.
What kind?
The dog in question is a PITBULL ROTTWEILER mix.
And the other 2 dogs?
The other one is a...
Sit up. All the way up. I can hardly tell. Your pants are falling down, so I can hardly tell whether you're sitting or standing.
The female is a blue PITBULL, blue Great Dane mix, 50-50. And then they have a child together who's about 6 months old.
Now, on May 5th, one or more of your dogs attacked Miss Gibson.
Yes, ma'am.
If you're a renter and you have pit bulls or Rottweilers, you should have renter's insurance. If they'll give you renter's insurance, you're responsible for her injuries. Your dogs were roaming free. They weren't under your control. End of story. You're a renter. She was visiting a friend. They're not allowed to roam around free and bite people. That's a simple rule. You have 3 big dogs. They're supposed to be under your control.
Ma'am?
What?
I feel like they were under my control. They're on the property. This is a fenced property.
No, listen to me.
I wasn't aware if this woman was visiting.
Who cares what you were aware of? Is what you're telling me the house that you live in is fenced. Your little house is fenced. Is that what you're telling me?
There is a fenced in back, but that's not where they were.
That's, of course, because she didn't go into your property. You're a renter.
It's one piece of property.
No, sir. You're a renter. You're not a handyman. That's what you just told me. You're strictly a renter. You don't have the house back there because the house is under your control because you're taking care of it. You pay her $400 a month to live in your house.
Yes,
that's where outside of your house they have to be under your control.
Your Honor?
On Cindy Weaver's property is not in your control.
Your Honor?
What?
Cindy Weaver was aware that these animals
Don't tell me what
roamed
just
this
listen
4-acre parcel.
Just pay careful attention to me.
Yes, ma'am.
You can't tell me what Cindy Weaver was aware of because that calls for the operation of the mind of another person.
Yes, ma'am.
That is impermissible in a court of law.
Yes, ma'am.
I'm telling you, you have 3 big dogs.
Okay.
They're
What about
supposed
a conversation?
We're supposed to keep them in control so that somebody doesn't get almost mauled to death.
You're right.
You have photographs of your injuries?
Yes, ma'am.
I'd like to see them. Show these to the defendant, please. I have conversations, Mr. Abrahamson, with people who act responsibly when they have potentially vicious dogs. Judgment for the plaintiff in the amount of $5,000. We're